at Williams, Mercedes, and McLaren, sometimes they've been in the wilderness, and of recent, they've been dominating. But Ferrari have always been in the top 5 as long as I've watched Formula One. They're always there or thereabouts. Right now, their race management is a shambles, and they are experimenting far too often. They had a fast car, and they're just overdoing it. They're over experimenting. And all the time that I've watched Formula One, I've enjoyed supporting McLaren and Mercedes because they follow a logic. The reason why we don't see Hamilton talking too much is because he tends to trust in their logic. But this chaos of Ferrari, this is the first time I've actually gone out and decided, okay, now let's be honest, it's because of Hamilton that I'm supporting Ferrari. If Hamilton wasn't in the sport, I'd have probably been a McLaren guy. But the chaos that is following Ferrari this season is something of a problem. I hope they work it out so that they can do something well this season. If they don't, they're looking at next season.
No. I beg to differ. The entire Italians are very great engineers. It's just they need great support in the way that we see in Andrea Stella. He's a very great engineer. But maybe he's an exception. Maybe he's an exception to the rule. I don't know.
Yeah, I think everybody knows the Germans are best.
I think Stella.
For example, let me give you an example. The Porsche 911, only 4 6-cylinders, and it accelerates the Ferrari Testarossa. The Germans are the best. I think we can't argue that. The Germans have the best engineers as well.
I think
they were the people who sent America to the moon. German had the best scientists.
The Germans are very efficient. I just wanted to bring in that Andreas
but I don't think
sort of complication to your Italian generalization.
Yeah,
but I think we understand that the Italian way is the more passion-driven, poetic kind of idea in terms of how they approach car making. They're all about aesthetics and beauty and things like that, which is not something that belongs in. I mean, to a certain extent, it does belong in F1 because I mean,
it's all about the show,
but I think they need to really clamp down on their technical stuff in terms of being more precise.
I think on their fine tuning.
But I think perhaps
they scrapped car. They scrapped it.
Yeah, and I think the point you make also about Germans also comes to light when we think about the spirit that Schumacher infused into Ferrari. And made it the reliable sort of performer that it was. Those were some of the most reliable periods of Ferrari. And throughout the seasons, we've seen them to be very unreliable when it comes to like having a stable car or having a stable strategy, let alone, like a driver philosophy kind of a thing that can push This is what I see since Kimi and Schumacher were there.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, I'm going to go back and double down on this. When you look at whether it's racing cars or regular cars, the Germans are the most precise engineers.
Well, the thing is, when you look at Williams, Mercedes, and McLaren, sometimes they've been in the wilderness, and of recent, they've been dominating. But Ferrari have always been in the top 5 as long as I've watched Formula One. They're always there or thereabouts. Right now, their race management is a shambles, and they are experimenting far too often. They had a fast car, and they're just overdoing it. They're over experimenting. And all the time that I've watched Formula One, I've enjoyed supporting McLaren and Mercedes because they follow a logic. The reason why we don't see Hamilton talking too much is because he tends to trust in their logic. But this chaos of Ferrari, this is the first time I've actually gone out and decided, okay, now let's be honest, it's because of Hamilton that I'm supporting Ferrari. If Hamilton wasn't in the sport, I'd have probably been a McLaren guy. But the chaos that is following Ferrari this season is something of a problem. I hope they work it out so that they can do something well this season. If they don't, they're looking at next season. But I think
and here's another fatal mistake. Everybody says up and down the grid, the best mind for cars and feedback is signed, and they got rid of him. He goes to Williams. All of a sudden, Williams is doing well. He's not doing well because he had some problems adjusting with the car and with his first race. But they got rid of Sainz, and I say it again, they just brought Hamilton for money and glory. They had a perfect team, they had a car, and they just spoiled everything. I will say this much, I think they did all of this just to get money, and they don't care about winning.
I'm also surprised. Hamilton was progressing pretty fine in Mercedes. I mean, they were having problems, but they were working through them. I'm not sure that Hamilton would have won the championship.
They made up,
but he would have improved. He was improving steadily there.
Of course, he had a better chance at Mercedes. I don't know why he went
to It's his ego.
80 million.
Hamilton chose to leave because they told him they weren't going to give him a
because Mercedes weren't happy to see him leave, and they were completely taken aback and surprised by his decision.
Yeah,
I thought that he was a Mercedes. You know, is a British team. Mercedes, McLaren, they have these British affiliations with them, and I thought he was going to stick there because that was the culture. He doesn't have that Ferrari culture.
He's impatient, number one. Number two, he's paranoid. He thinks the team is against him.
He's losing time. Hamilton losing time.
I think he thinks that he's becoming insignificant, and he wants to find himself back insignificant. And Ferrari, because they've been perennially in the top 5 all the time, that surely if he joins Ferrari and rolls the dice, he can always compete.
Yeah. No, that was a big bad move because I said to you guys, I've been saying this, and I was the first person to say it. When they changed their front suspension, I said, this makes no damn sense in one more year because it's a risk. You had the second fastest car in the grid last year, and now they're struggling to beat Williams. A lot because they have more speed than Williams, but their window is lower because they experimented too much with the car.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I'm just a little bit worried for them because the media, they're going to double down on them. The Italian media are very unforgiving, especially this website, Auto Racer. They're already complaining about them, and they're going to put them under a lot of pressure. Where one time, Ferrari principal, Rob Smedley, he said there's a very fine line between success and failure in Ferrari. If you're doing very well, they're going to hail you to the high heavens. But if you're poor, they're going to stick it in your face. So they're under a lot of pressure. They have to do something very quickly before Suzuka. And it doesn't look like they have even discovered what the issues are, really.
The biggest problem among the drivers, I mean, if they hadn't been disqualified, they'd have got some good points. It's the
technical team. It's the technical team. It's technical team and leadership. But
it doesn't help that, first of all, Hamilton took a 2 pit stop in a race where he saw everybody else doing one.
Stupid stop, man. Stupid.
That's stupid. That's stupid. Then the week before, he's like, should I get off of the track when it's bloody raining and you're seeing people off the track?
Yeah,
stupid. Both of them are airheads. I hate to say it. They're both airheads. I'm serious.
To have both cars disqualified, that's very bad. Both cars disqualified.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. The Italian media are not going to take it easy with them.
And they're disqualified for different reasons, weren't they? They weren't disqualified for the same reason.
No. Charles Leclerc was weight. And
my guess is that Leclerc's thing was wearing too. He just didn't wear as much as this guy. And that's why they were underweight. We'll never really know. But and also,
they wanted to cheat in what kind of way?
They were trying to cheat.
Exactly. They were doing something dubious.
Leclerc was like on his own. He was trying to do something so that he can look a little better than Hamilton. That was one thing that he was able to do in his own.
He's actually the biggest disgrace in F1 at this point, as far as I'm concerned. Everybody says he's the fastest on the grid, points from pure speed. He's indisciplined. Even when they asked Leclerc, how do you drive? He said he doesn't pay attention.
Doesn't know the how.
I like Suzuka.
Ferrari actually paid Hamilton 80 or 85 million, a year. They're paying him for a year. Verstappen is the world champion. He gets 55 million. So, so that was like the big thing that, Hamilton had to like, hey, man, when they offer me that kind of money, man, you probably can't say no, at least,
Well, they have their Netflix drama now for Formula One has this big drama that's always playing out all the time. So that it's all about entertainment. So that's why he's getting more money. Not because he's good, but because he attracts attention.
Honda gave Red Bull 10 million to let Yuki race in Japan. This is some bullshit here, man. This is crazy. So they're bringing in him because of money. I hope he does well.
Drivers and personality create popularity for the sport. If you have
there's also that
I
drivers,
sincerely hope he does
then
well,
it
because
doesn't inspire
that
people to be
RB21
excited.
is a difficult car to drive. It's a difficult car to drive.
I think Yuki. I think he's brave enough to do it. Anyway, let's switch to the next thing. So let's talk